the final tipping point was when a teacher called me a slut to the whole class.
I'm a dirty girl. I'm a dirty girl.
Good, how are you?
Good. This is so cute.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So sick. I'm Jade Million. I'm a music artist in Nashville. I'm also an entrepreneur, an online creator, and I run a tooth gem business called Jade's Gems. I chose Nashville because from the moment that I got to this city, I could tell that it was about to explode into something much more than what people knew it as, which was just a country music city. There was just this electricity in the air and just this like newness. I kind of wanted to be on the forefront of the new wave of Nashville.
What's been happening?
Nothing. I mean, I had like a crazy week. I met up with my dream producer, and yeah, I thought it was gonna be like amazing and super exciting, but it was very interesting. So I showed him some of my music, and he basically said that I sound super non-unique and like I just sound like every other female artist.
You sound nothing like anyone here.
No, that's what I said. I was like,
in general, not like many people, but especially here.
Yeah, and that's what I said to him. I was like, it's wild because the thing that I get the most from people is that I sound totally different from anyone. So it was a really difficult night. Like, it knocked my confidence down so much, and honestly, I had never been so ready to like give up on music. And I know that people have failures and stuff when they, you know, are pursuing this, but this was like another level of just, I mean, I thought this night could change my life.
Yeah, you got the big break, like you always hear about, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know really why, you know, he was so mean and intense about it, but I think there are reasons beyond what I can, you know, see or understand, like why he was acting that way.
It wasn't
to me.
strictly about the music.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So regardless though, like after I cried about it for like 24 hours, I was like, all right, I am gonna prove this to you wrong, you know? And
so we're over the sad and now we're just straight fueled and motivated.
Yeah, and I talked to other people in the industry that like I love and trust, and you know, they're not yes men, but they will give me the honest truth, even if it's not something that I want to hear. And they were like, you know, even if somebody has constructive criticism to give you about your music, they don't have to give it to you like that.
So it's the way you say things. Your delivery.
For sure. I mean, it was absolutely brutal, but I think it's like, you know, part of the plot. I think I'm meant to prove this to you wrong. So that's what I'm focused on now.
Well, also too, I saw your TikTok about this, so I was like, I need to stop by and talk to her because that TikTok like blew up.
I know.
So it's part of the storyline. Like it's just going to be this chapter and the stepping stone that's going to lead you to the end goal.
Well, what's so funny is while I was there, he's like, so what's your marketing plan for your music? And I was like, you just handed it to me. I mean, I didn't say that, but in my brain, I'm like, you handed me the best story.
The best story time.
Yeah. But what's so frustrating is on TikTok, like, people are, you know, saying that I'm making it up to like get views, and I just want to tell them like it's worse than, you know, I even made it sound. Like it was worse than what I'm telling you now. It's just like, it was just a lot, you know, so yeah, it fucking sucked, but
we're here now, and we have new music coming out.
Yes, we have new music coming out. I'm so excited. Jay's is going to be released, and we did like an insane music video for it. I really think that this song could change my life. So
excited. It's bigger than You Owe Me. That was like my favorite.
I mean, that's like it's on that level, and I just think that this one's gonna have more of a splash because we have a video behind it. But of course, I Love Me, You Old Me. I just was envisioning myself today while I was on my hike, like performing that to like a sold out arena. And I think that's always gonna be a huge song of mine. But yeah, Jay's is a bop.
Do I get to hear it?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I just buy a pair of J's, try to take the pain away. Maybe I'll just get your plane, cause you can't be sad in Spain. Drink a bottle of champagne to forget all my mistakes. Hope it fades away, hope they fade away.
So wait, how are you managing this with the podcast you just launched?
You know, it's been a learning curve for me. I think there's just so much discipline and planning that goes into podcasting. I know, you know about that. But I felt really called to do a podcast for a long time now. I've learned so much myself through podcasts, and it's just been on my heart for a minute. So I was like, you know what, it's time. I'm gonna do this myself. And I do have somebody helping me kind of make edits and do video stuff, but even that has just been such a process of like sending footage back and forth and getting it right. But I really love it. It feels a lot different for me than my music. There's less pressure around it.
Yeah,
and there's
more natural.
Yeah, and I just feel like nowadays as an artist, you can't get away with just being super mysterious and closed off. You have to be creating more of an empire than you are just being like this, you know, untouchable music artist.
Yeah. The more like accessible you are, the better you'll do.
100%, because we're overwhelmed with content and people, and it's like if you're not, you know, in front of somebody's face every single day, like you're just
forgotten.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What stigma have you faced in your music career for having an OnlyFans or Playboy center link in your bio?
I've had like a couple people say, and they were all men. They were all men in the industry that are a little older than me, kind of make comments about it. But so far, I haven't really faced any crazy like repercussions, I guess, from having an OnlyFans and Playboy. I think as time goes on, the industry is getting more and more and more accepting of having a paid platform. I preach to all artists that you should have a paid platform. If you're putting out content of any kind and you have a fan base, you should be giving your fans an opportunity to support you in what you do, in whatever way you want to do that. It doesn't have to be, you know, sexual. It could be totally up to you how you do that. But if you're not capitalizing on the fan base that you've worked so hard to create, I don't know, like I feel like that's a missed opportunity. So I just feel like the industry is, if anything, pushing artists to, you know, monetize their content.
And you just went home, so like what was you went home for like a little break and you came back. I felt like that would be a good reset for you after everything that's happened.
For sure, it was good. I mean, it's definitely weird going back home sometimes because I just feel like I'm a lot different from my family and I love them so much, and there's so much love in my family. But you know, it's like I live a completely different lifestyle than they do, and I think that when you grow up and you move out at a really young age, your family kind of like views you at that age forever.
Yeah.
So like, not only do I feel like sometimes when I go back home, I can accidentally fall into old like behavior patterns, but also like that's how I'm treated. So it's weird, but I love them, obviously.
When did you come here?
I came here when I was 18. So yeah, I like out of high school, I moved here. I mean, I stopped going to school my senior year, so.
I had no idea, that's wild. Just to pursue music?
Well, I actually was really badly bullied by girls, so to the point where I wanted to stop doing music, and my mom was like, we're not having that, so. So high school and middle school were really difficult for me. Girls did not like me, and they did not like that I knew who I was and what I wanted to do from a really young age. I also had a lot of confidence when I was younger, which I think bothered a lot of older girls, and the older boys also liked me, so that didn't help my case either. And on top of that, I was, you know, I had a body before I even really knew what that meant or what people would view that as. So I got called a slut like all throughout high school, even before I had ever really done anything with a boy. And anywhere from girls in my grade all the way up to teachers were making comments about me, and it just got to a point where they were also kind of attacking my music. Every time I would perform at school, they would make the day a living hell for me, and I told my parents that I didn't want to do music anymore because I couldn't deal with all of the backlash that I received. And yeah, the final tipping point was when a teacher called me a slut to the whole class because my picture was in the newspaper for putting out an EP, and I was wearing like a little cute dress.
When she was telling me actually that she had experienced bullying in high school too, it kind of struck me because I felt like that was definitely something I could relate to. When I was in school, especially high school, it was always that I'm a slut and I'm a whore and I'm all of these things. And I've always dated serious, boyfriends. I've only had long-term relationships in my life. So to have that kind of be projected onto you, despite not even being like either sexually active or not, being promiscuous in any way, I really carried that with me, like in life. And I know Jade can relate to that. I think it's just something that about being a pretty girl that threatens people, and the easiest label to stick on them is whore, slut, insert whatever here. So for me, carrying that with me identity-wise into adulthood and into career, it's very easy to be like, they're saying it anyways. So like, why not build an empire on the backs of what everybody already thinks? It's not gonna change anything long term. And I got a house out of it. So.
Why did you choose Nashville though, instead of like LA or something else? Because you're not like country music.
Yeah, no, not at all, not at all. Honestly, it's so weird. I've always believed I have such strong like intuition and just kind of like connection with like my higher self. Like I'm pretty spiritual, and even being 18 years old, I came to Nashville and I knew that it was about to like pop off. Like I just could feel that there was like this change coming for the city, and I was like, if I can stand out here and be on the front of that new wave and kind of like lead it and lead the city to be more just
It's different.
More expansive than just country. I was like, why not do that, then go to LA and be like one, in every pop singer there. So
that's so smart too, just as like an entrepreneur, to be like,
yeah,
where am I gonna stand out and get noticed and like get the attention that I need to get this moving? Like, that's 100%. Like, it's funny that you say that, because when I like was getting started in my career, I was like so avoidant of like just the redhead thing, even though like that's the calling card. Like that's what people will know and like remember.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I totally get that. That's a genius move on your part. 100%.
Yeah.
There's so many musicians in Nashville. What made you gravitate and connect with Jade specifically?
I mean, have you heard her voice? Like, have you listened to her sing? First off, I love her vibe. Like, she's got such a cool vibe. The hair, the brand, the mood, the J's, like, I relate to that. And I've dated a lot of guys in that lane. So Jade, I'm not hitting on you, but I'm not mad about it either. But also just the fact that she's different. Like, she stands out in Nashville. She's not another country star singing on Broadway. She's in a lane all her own. And like, that's important. And that needs to be recognized. And I don't know, have you heard her voice?
I mean, it was really hard the first few years here. There was a lot of doubt and questioning if I made the right decision.
Really?
Because even then, that was, oh my God, like almost 7 years ago at this point, the city was not
what it is now,
as open-minded as it is now. So that question was always like more difficult to answer. I just felt in my heart that I belonged here, even though I clearly didn't. Like, I didn't really belong.
You stand out, but
So yeah, I mean, I almost like got into country music because I was working in this publishing house they were telling me like, you have to do country music. If you don't, we cannot help you and we won't manage you.
See, and that's so wild, because I know like right now you're just like playing gigs and you have to do like the covers and all that stuff, but obviously that's not the goal. Like,
no, that's how I pay my bills. Like one of the ways I pay my bills. But yeah, I think luckily for me though, I figured out what venues to perform at that really cater to my style. Right. Because even though I am doing covers, like I'm not doing the normal typical Broadway covers. It's very much my vibe, and I do a lot of even like hip hop, R&B, pop stuff. So I figured out a way to do it that still is true to me, but yeah, I mean, I want to be performing festivals and arenas, so it's definitely just like a stepping stone to get there.
That's amazing. And then so like, with that all going on, and now you got the podcast, and now you're releasing these songs. When is this getting released? And are we doing anything? Like, is there going to be a party? I need to know. I need to find out this.
So we're throwing a private exclusive event. Only 50 people are invited, and it is a screening of the music video for Jays. And then we're all gonna go out after, but we're gonna have like a bartender, like food. We're gonna have a pop-up that's gonna have a bunch of Jordans and vintage clothing.
Love that.
And a photo booth with like the cover art, so it's gonna be really dope. And then we'll all go out and have fun and celebrate.
I can't wait.
So obviously, all the girls have to be there.
Yes, so I'm gonna let them know, and exclusive, that just like,
No, invite only, for sure.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get back to work.
Sounds good.
Love you.
We're done.
See you soon.
Great to see you.
Yeah, keep me posted.
I will. Thanks for your time.
Bye.
What are you hoping to achieve by telling your story on the show?
I'm hoping to show any artist that you can support yourself and your career independently. You don't need a label, you don't need a huge team of people. We have the internet and we have ways to make money, and that's really all you need these days to be a successful artist. And I also want to showcase my journey of being maybe a different type of artist than you would normally see in Nashville.
What do you hope most people take away from Jade being featured on the show?
I think what I want people to take away from Jade being on the show is really that not every person on OnlyFans has to be doing the same thing. So like, you don't have to be doing explicit content, you don't have to be making boy-girl content, you don't have to be doing anything. And I feel like that's a really big problem in our industry in general, is that everyone is assumed to be the same. And not all of us are doing the same things. And I think there needs to be a little bit of recognition of that and honor of that. The fact that everyone can utilize OnlyFans to sell access to whatever it is they do or whatever it is they're about, that is something new technologically, and like the creator economy, and it's kind of a new era and a new age in general in terms of business. So I think it is an important story to tell, and I also think that it's kind of cool to feature a cast that is a spectrum of creators. You've got non-explicit, you've got semi maybe, you've got solo girl with me, you've got everything with Tawni, and it's a spectrum of what you can expect when you get behind someone's paywall. And I think that you need to pay homage that we're all different and we're all independent. And yes, while there is a divide, there's this attitude of like, from the sex work community, there's an attitude of like, why did you come in our space and take what's ours? And I can recognize that. But there's also needs to be a respect that everyone has a hustle and everyone is building something for themselves. And this is the era we're in. This is where things are going. And I think that all of those things can exist simultaneously, and all of those things are fucking important, but one is not wrong and not right. And while it's hard because of the way sex work and things are built in the back of sex work, OnlyFans was launched by sex workers, webcam was launched by sex workers, the Twitch streamers owe us something for the groundwork we laid on webcam. It doesn't mean that it's not okay that other people come into the space. It's only doing us a service to bleed into mainstream and to help us evolve into being accepted. And that's a good thing, the way I see it.
So he ended up getting angry and posted these, terrible nudes of me online. Now I'm an adult and I can take my power back and I can make fucking money on it.
And that's a good thing, the way I see it.
That was a good response.
That was really good.
I'm over here like, oh shit, I didn't know about all that. People are gonna be like,
that's awesome. And I didn't realize that like we were all like different. That was cool. We're all on different levels.
She knows what she's doing.